Lucifer still could not believe he had agreed to this. As he sat bored in the lobby, staring at the screen of a tablet Charlie had given him before she left. His daughter had called him a week ago. Apparently a messenger from heaven arrived with news of utmost importance, as it seemed as a demon actually managed to redeem himself. It was none other than Serpentius. Not sure how to deal with him, he had been kept hidden in the palace of the Seraphim for a few days, until Seraphim Emily finally managed to convince Sarah, the first of the Seraphim, to allow him to integrate. Charlie would therefore be needed to make it easier for him. The intended time would be 5 days and 5 nights, and since Alistair had his hands busy with what he called an important side job in Cannibal Town, it was all left to Charlie's father, the King of Hell, to do what exactly? Play security guard for Alistair's new security system. The most convoluted bullshit the fallen angel had ever heard. And this entire process had clearly been designed just to keep someone busy, annoyed, and in constant danger. Of course, Lucifer knew to not trust Alistair, but this was ridiculous. Charlie had nonchalantly explained in minute detail how this tablet thingy worked. It depicted a map of the entire hotel, with various little squares that represented cameras on each floor. The most important one being camera 13 in the basement. There, kept in a room, was a demon. You. And a quite dangerous one at that. That little bit control Alistair had over you he used as emergency backup. Seems like his injuries during the extermination really hurt his pride. Especially when Vaggy demanded that the hotel got more security staff as well. And so the hotel got more security staff. With the drawback being that you needed to be kept away from anyone but intruders. You were an extremely dangerous and powerful species of sinner demon called a knife princess. Cruelty demons usually only found in the deepest pits of hell. But your existence in the layer of pride could only mean that any sinner could potentially become a knife princess, albeit rarely, which was quite scary. At least to regular denizens of hell. All the while appearing like a helpless, barely legal female. Only about 1% of your species were male, and in fact one of them was an overlord in the Wrath layer. And in your case, you were a beautiful blonde girl with crimson eyes. You look perfectly human, minus your teeth, them seemingly being made out of sharp metal, like some mad scientist had given you metal shark dentures. You are sitting in the basement, your glowing eyes unblinkingly staring into the camera. The room around you was decorated like the bedroom of a princess, with flailed skins hanging from the ceiling of various unfortunate imps on whom you feasted, which covered the black and white square-tiled floor in puddles of red blood. Your pink bed probably being the only place in the entire room that didn't have any red stains. You are dressed in a very tattered white dress that was torn in just the right places to look both sexy as well as dangerous. Usually, all it took for you to remain in your room was Alistair's presence in the building. Not because you were afraid of the radio demon, and not because you had a contract with him, but because he fed you. And now that he was gone, Lucifer needed to occasionally play voice clips of Alistair over the basement intercom to fool you into staying. But not play them too often, as repeats of the voice lines happening in too quick of a succession would mean that you got behind the ruse. Ugh, what a bother. According to Charlie, you had broken out once before. Only once, and that was enough for a bloodbath. That the job of keeping you down there had been top priority. And it was the reason why the only way into the basement went over the lobby. As in the worst case scenario, the rest of the hotel could be locked up, so the only way for more blood for you was outside. And not in one of the rooms of the guests seeking redemption. Bored, Lucifer stared at your eyes. He wasn't sure if you were even aware of the fact that he was looking at you. The King of Hell was playing a game in his head. He would guess the intervals of your blinking. If he was right, he would take a gummy bear from his breast pocket and eat it. If he was wrong, he would try his luck with one of the jelly beans he had found in the lobby's desk. So far, he had tasted 4 sweet beans, 1 that was incredibly salty, and 2 that tasted like raw onions. You blinked. Oop. Annoyed, he reached for the jelly beans again. He was off by just 1 second. He was feeling through the bag. Come on, give me sherry or apple. Come on, sherry or apple. He took out a purple one and carefully inspected it. And then he shrugged and threw it into his mouth, biting down. Great. I'm okay with that. He sighed with relief. His gaze then shifted back to the security tablet. Crap. Your eyes were gone. Quickly he switched to cam 12. He jolted back. The camera was entirely black, with the exception of the 2 red glows right in front of it. You were staring right into the camera, scaring him. He played the sound of Alistair, but when he jumped from cam 12 to 11, you had ignored the intercom message. And were right now sitting on top of a crate dangling your legs. You were approaching him. Inhaling, Lucifer tried the noise button again, but you deadpanned as he stared into the camera. You're flashing your teeth, a knife seemingly piercing out of your right shoulder and the palm of your left hand as you jumped off the crate. You definitely were no longer being fooled. You wondered who was up there watching you. That wasn't Alistair. Was it Husk? He always screamed so wonderfully loud when you plucked his feathers. Ooh, or maybe Nifty. She seemed to be the one who enjoyed your presence the most. She always squealed with delight whenever you tore her arms off. Though Alistair could also be messing with you. Maybe this time he would manage to actually behead you for being a naughty little girl. Ah, the temptation. It was simply too much. You had to reach the lobby. Meanwhile, Lucifer wondered why his heart started beating faster. It was as if knowing the danger was coming was easier to stomach than actively seeing it slowly and playfully approach. The basement, specifically for the purpose of containing you, had various doors randomly locked daily. Of course, you could simply break through them, but since this all seemed to be like a game to you, and breaking the doors as such would also break your self-imposed rules. Smiling, your eyes darted towards the camera, or more, one eye. Your right eye socket was no more, replaced by a long serrated blade staring out of its hole. Lucifer was unsure of himself and the situation. On one side, he was intrigued. He was the king of hell, there was no chance you could beat him. On the other, he was amused by your attempts at intimidation. With a finger he tapped on his desk. His lips perked up into a smirk. He was curious about your final form. Would the inevitable fight with you be amusing? Sadly, the final camera was fuzzy. His art almost skipped a beat. As much as he hated the suspense, he was glad he was spared a look upon your finalized visage. Your silhouette, the only thing he could see, was intriguing as it was horrifying. And then he heard you. The noise of scraping metal and tapping approached from the basement door. Hands folded behind his back, Lucifer stepped into the middle of the lobby. With a snap of his fingers, he sealed the entrance to the upper rooms of the hotel to keep everyone safe. He grinned, a feeling similar to the one he had when he fought Adam, overcoming him. And then, blades shot through the wood of the door, showering its surroundings with splinters. More and more sharp metal objects pierced it, until finally it gave way to your completed self. Your fully manifested demon form had a feminine silhouette, a dress formed out of countless swords, its tips moving you forward like a crueled-up centipede. Your hands, bouquets of knives, and your visage akin to that of a featureless mannequin, staring at him with eternal malice. Your hair a fan of daggers that flowed with every movement you did. Aside from the countless shifting metal blades, you made no sound, though understandably, you could not talk like this. Your chest, however, was the most striking. A mere basket of metal at its center, floating a big round chunk of flesh pulsating rapidly. Your heart, glowing, the only visible weak spot of your body. Without hesitation, you went for the attack, at a speed completely unfit for your enormous size. You dashed forward, Lucifer dodging by transforming into a white rat. Quickly, he rushed through the tiny spaces between your bladed legs and feet. You stomped the ground rhythmically as you tried to push him out from beneath your sharp dress. Leaping up, he tried to climb up your hip, only for your body to retaliate, trying to crush him. He coughed as air was pressed out of him. And before you squeezed him, dead, he jumped out of a tiny hole in your back. Mid-fall, changing back, using his wings to stop his fall. And to prevent him from outright crashing into the desk. However, the small course correction was already enough for him to slow down just enough for a swipe of your hands to hit him. He screamed in pain. Not even Adam managed to get a single hit onto him. But that was understandable. His yellow blood sprayed across the walls as he yelped in pain. There was no place on your body that wasn't a weapon. Devastating swipe after devastating swipe, each hit destroying more and more of the lobby. And yet, despite the pain, Adam couldn't bring himself to take the fight serious. It was fun, dodging your wild attacks. It was like battling an animal. And you could tell you were enjoying this too. Obviously, you were used to massacres. There was no need for you to develop any strategy. You simply overwhelmed any resistance. Even Alistair, the only demon to ever end a fight in a tie with you, had been severely damaged from the encounter. And once you had hit him, staining the walls, Lucifer no longer felt the need to preserve the lobby. Your massive right arm slammed on the ground, getting stuck unfortunately. Taking the opportunity, Lucifer kicked open the Hazbin Hotel's door, your head shifting towards him, but your arm was thoroughly stuck. Mockingly, the King of Hell made a little dance in the air outside. And so, you did the only thing you could think of. A thin line appeared on your flawless face, revealing that your form did have a mouth. It was covered in thousands of tiny razors, shifting uncontrollably within your maw. And accompanied by a grotesque grinding noise, you sunk your teeth into your arm, ripping it off in a singular bite. Immediately you rushed towards Lucifer, bursting through the front door, shaking the very foundation of the hotel, probably waking up every guest within. The jagged edges of your body shivering with the delight of 1,000 gutted corpses. Flowers of flesh, blood and metal ever bleeding, ever blossoming in a forest of pain and punishment. But Lucifer never once stopped grinning from ear to ear. At least not until your body crooked forward. The plates of sharp iron convulsed, before bursting into a shower of spikes, revealing 4 bladed wings. Fuck, she has a face too. They were enormous, strong enough to carry your tons of iron. And with a mighty burst, you were airborne. Like an eagle chasing after a sparrow mid-flight, you hunted Lucifer. Even he understood that he better not get you in range of the city. So he flew a loop-de-loop around you, over the hotel into the cracked wilderness of the lair of hell. Here was nothing but rock and bubbling magma. You were too big to fly more elegant maneuvers through the twisted cracks. Rather, your body broke through each and every one of them like the unstoppable monstrosity that you were. Until Lucifer hovered over an insidiously hot plate of rock. He could feel the crust here wasn't particularly thick, and with how heavy your body was, all he had to do was stop your flight. He allowed himself to be hit by your left arm, your blades sinking into his flesh. But utilizing your strength, it gave him the necessary momentum to swing himself around you, making a finger gun and snapping his finger. Lucifer hated using the same attack as Adam did, but it was the only thing he could think of. For a moment, all you saw was a flash of light before pain, great pain, and you fell, your wings melting thanks to Lucifer's divine magic. And with the noise of an explosion, you crashed through the rock right into the magma, body glowing orange. You leapt out of it like a pool of quicksand, desperately clawing with your one left arm at the magma's edge, but you were too heavy, not to mention sharp. Your limbs literally cutting through the edges. The King of Hell watched you struggle, with an almost cold expression. He knew he had to get you out of there, but not until you struggled just a tiny bit more. Or, well, at least until he saw a skeletal hand punch through the smooth faceplate, its flesh falling off the bone like a perfectly cooked spare rib. It was your arm, your normal arm. As you were quickly losing conscious due to the pain from the lava, you're reverting to your regular form, even though that would only speed up your death. And he sighed, rolling his eyes, knowing full well that letting you drown in there would only lead to Charlie being mad at him. He swooped down, grabbing your arm, pulling you out of your metal shell. Your body was incredibly hot, sizzling as you lied, barely clinging to conscious in his arms. Your charred body helplessly reaching for his face. As Lucifer flied back to the hotel, you couldn't help but think you were still trying to kill him. But then, your hand touched his cheek, gently. Your empty, burned-out eye sockets staring into his soul. How were you still able to move? That was beyond him. Though what Lucifer couldn't quite grasp yet was that you accepted your defeat, and that now you were fully devoted to him. For only the first man to ever best you in battle like this was capable of containing what you were, keep you in check, protect others from yourself, and making you feel safe. And to his absolute surprise, you lunged up, wrapping your arms around his neck, pressing your charred lips against his. A taste similar to that of fried pork entered his mouth. In shock and disgust, he almost dropped you. The pain you must be feeling in this moment should be enough to make you fall into a coma until your regeneration was completed, but yet you were so active. He forced his face away from yours. His stomach turned as you laughed in his arms, and then finally went limp. It was Lucifer's second night. For a sinner-born demon, you regenerated very quickly. He watched your camera. Last night, all he had done was throw you into your bed and lock the door, leaving you to put yourself back together. And the moment your hair had grown back and your eyes had reformed, you had been standing in the middle of your room, staring at the camera unblinking. From there, he watched your skin fuse back into the pearly white of your natural color. Though you didn't seem to want to wear clothes now, you just stood there, staring at him. Restlessly, Lucifer tapped his fingers on the desk, a bit of sweat running down his forehead. With a shaking hand, he pressed the button to play Alistair's voice, leading to no discernible reaction from you. Ugh, he couldn't even play his candy game again. You weren't blinking at all. Oh, for fuck's sake. Lucifer turned off the tablet and walked downstairs, the basement door being the only thing that hasn't been repaired yet. Though considering the state you had been in, it wasn't top priority. Minutes later, he burst through your room's door, his nostrils immediately hit by the stench of flesh and blood from the flayed imps. Your gaze immediately leaving the camera and focusing on him. You smiled, sickeningly sweet, at him and tilting your head. "Master," you said in a voice that was way too high-pitched and cute for the thing that you were. "Master," you said in a voice that was way too high-pitched and cute for the thing that you were. Hearing that, he almost took a step back. You clapped your hands together, folding them over your navel. "What can I do for you?" He blushed hard. "Well, you could start by telling me why you aren't dressed." "What's wrong? Is it distracting you, Master? Am I making it difficult to stare at me all day?" He didn't respond. "Oh, such a naughty boy, Master." I didn't even say anything." "Oh, but you did. You just didn't use your voice." You closed your eyes, smiling sweetly and innocently. Placing a hand deviously on your collarbone, you lean forward, musing. "Does Master really want me to wear clothes again?" "Why are you calling me that?" He was deflecting already. "You beat me fair and square, Master. And I love getting beat." You opened your eyes again. The red glow pierced his soul. Putting a finger on your lip, you mused. Putting a finger on your lip, you purred, as a bead of sweat ran down Lucifer's forehead. He inhaled, trying to ignore the slaughterhouse-esque smell in your room. Taking a step forward, he narrowed his eyes. "Tell me, do you really want this, huh?" You snickered, saying nothing until he was right in front of you. He took one of your hands in his. With an almost angry expression, he grinned down at you. "You really see me as your master, huh? So you really see me as your master, huh?" You purred in response, but didn't say anything. Without warning, his grip around your wrist tightened so much your bones shattered pleasurably. Before he threw you on your bed. With a single powerful flap of his wings, he slammed onto you, his long tongue licking over your neck, leaving behind a yellow trail of pure divine energy. Yet your soul was so blackened not even the its light could penetrate your darkness. It merely felt like boiling salvia on your skin, and you loved it. You wanted this all along, don't you? Make me lose my mind as I stare at you. He began to mercilessly assault your body, claws digging into your flesh, teeth penetrating your skin. I'll make you regret ever regenerating. Yes, Master, kill me, eat me, take me, violate me, ruin me. Lucifer lied down next to you, out of breath, while you were tightly pressed against his left arm, rubbing your face against his shoulder. Master's out of breath. Did I do good? Yeah. He blinked. Wow. The last time he was this beat after an activity such as this, he had made Eve bite into the apple. What are you? He asked, completely drained. I'm a knife princess, you whispered into his ear. We are the culmination of the human desire for violence. A person who has nothing but murder on their mind and yet restrains themselves their entire life, the desire growing ever more powerful. Still, locked from entering heaven due to the havoc we will cause in paradise once the consequences are gone. And so in hell, we are given bodies that allow us to truly act like we always wanted. You licked his ear seductively, making him shiver. But you beat me, Master, And that makes me so unbelievably happy that I want nothing more than have you wear my skin. Please, wear my skin. Yeah, no, he would not do that. Please gut me, master. I think I have a better idea. An idea that would also make you serve me better. He leaned out of your bed, and excited you clapped your hands. Besides, what kind of master would listen to the demands of his slave? You giggled and blushed, tightening your grip on his arm even more. Yes, make me suffer eternally. Biting his lower lip, he realized he had thrown his jacket onto a puddle of blood. But alas, it was too late now. Carefully he fished out his phone, calling someone. Prim, you there? I got a little, You looked at him wide-eyed. I want you to meet someone. Post haste. You have a lot to teach her. He blinked as he listened to his butler talk. What does post haste mean? Yeah, Lucifer looked at you. With one hand you brushed over your body with a lewd smile. Make post haste in 2 hours. Yes, I know you can just teleport to me. That's the point. Yes. See you in 2 hours. He turned off his phone. We have 2 hours. Let's do this. It was the morning of Charlie's return. Her and Vaggie were carrying the bags with the biggest of smiles. I can't believe you made it. I know, so much progress in just 6 months, and he's a freaking angel now. And a cute one too. Charlie's eyes fell upon her father, who was sitting at the desk. Hey, Dad! Next to him stood Preminger? His demon butler? And Prim? Anyways, we have so much to tell you guys. Well, me too, Charlie. Right, Prim? Certainly, Master, he said. Oh? Did we miss something? Asked Vaggie. Lucifer snapped the fingers of his right hand, which led to the opening of the basement door. The two girls gasping in fear. And then, you stepped out of the gaping abyss, dressed in a rather revealing maid outfit. What the? Giggling, you skipped over to Lucifer, pecking him on the cheek and wrapping your arms around his shoulders. You guys know Celeste, right? Dad, is that the knife princess? It is! I didn't even know she had a name. He smiled brightly. Oh God, no. No. Vaggie growled. Can someone explain to me what is happening here? We're getting married. Say hello to your new stepmom. Like a needy cat, you rubbed your cheek against his. I'm getting married to Master. Thank you for watching my video until the very end. But before we end the video completely, I would like to shout out all of my wonderful channel members. Zachary, Rennie Whiting, Talia May, Chantel Johnson, Cakes Minx, Magnolia Iridium, Anonymous Weep, D's Nuts, Ash Wisdom, Nicodemus D, The Tribute, Galaxia, Spammy, Raylan, Deathhund, Melofia, Muffin, Aruna, Meow Meow Person, Cherry Red Bunny, Cat Cove, Kaya Abyss, Bit Bit, Sleepy Town, Hella, Nexurist, and AJ Anime Girl. Thank you for your support, it's greatly appreciated.